Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel for this Tuesday morning, afternoon or evening across the world where you may be at. And today I'm going to be talking about Paddy McGuinness, a British comedian who has recently done an article for the Mirror newspaper, and the headline reads, Paddy McGuinness has not told his children about their autism diagnosis. So for me, as an autistic woman and autistic advocate, I felt it was important to talk about it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read through the main points of the article and then give my autistic perspective towards the end. So without further ado, let's get into it. Paddy and Christine McGuinness are proud parents to 3 children with autism, but the pair have yet to tell their children about their condition they're living with. The Top Gear presenter Paddy, 48, shares 3 children with his wife Christine McGuinness, with twins Leo and Penelope and 5-year-old Felicity. All 3 children have autism, whilst Christine also recently discovered she also is autistic. The couple have just released a brand new podcast, Table Talk, where their aim is to better raise awareness for seriously ill or disabled children. The proud parents admit they have not found the right time to explain the situation, as they feel that their children are happy as they are and it may be a bit too much for them to deal with. Christine then says she does not know if there is ever a right time to tell them. This comes after Paddy said he has concerns that his children, will they ever know how much they are truly loved and how much he truly loves them? Will they ever know how much they are loved, or can they actually understand love or relationships? I can understand where he's coming from, don't get me wrong. I can understand that he's worried about their emotions, their relationships with people, and how the children come across to him, and how they identify their relationships with him. But I'm sorry, to say that he is concerned about their lack of love or empathy, I'm sorry, this frustrates the hell out of me, because people with autism, the thing is, we feel emotions more deeply than most, and to say, oh, I'm concerned will they ever understand what love is, or I'm concerned that will they ever know how much I love it, that's the most biggest load of bullshit. I'm sorry. We feel love and emotion so deeply than neurotypical people. We struggle to process it. We struggle to keep our emotions buried because we have so much emotions rushing around in our head that we don't know how to best control it. So for you to say that, Paddy, just shows a lack of research on your end and also a lack of emotion, because it's like you're saying we're emotionless, that we don't care or we're not capable. We are capable, it just takes us a while to process it, and that just really annoys me, to be honest with you. But I can understand why they're worried about their relationships with people and if to tell the children. But at some point there comes a point where you are going to have to tell your children that they're on the autistic spectrum, because when they identify with the world of schooling and they go into a classroom or they go into the world of work, they are going to have to tell their employer or their further education teachers they are on the autistic spectrum, because they'll react to noise, they'll react to overstimulus, they'll react to people being next to them, touching them, poking them. They'll react to certain smells and tastes and crowds, and they'll have high anxiety. So you have to tell them. There is no way that you should not be able to tell your children that they're on the autistic spectrum. Again, I can understand where this is coming from, because again, it's come from a place of protecting them and loving them and nurturing them. I get that, but at the same time, you are hiding what they're living with. You're kind of masking it and taking it away from them. And that's not good, because they will have to learn how to live with autism. They'll have to learn how to process it and adapt to how they want to live with it. Autism is such a multifaceted condition that I can understand why you're saying you might not want to tell them, but it doesn't work. It's not practical, because your children will grow up to be young adults with autism, and they need to know how to best adapt to the world. And at the moment, they don't know how to, because they're children. But at the same point, in a few months' time, in a couple of years' time, they are technically going to be young adults. So they need to be sat down and told what autism is. Maybe you can go onto YouTube or to an Autism Society website and show them a video what autism is. It doesn't have to be a scary video. It doesn't have to be a video where it's all big words and everything. Just show them a cartoon, or show them something that is child friendly, to explain to them, look, this is how your brain works. This is why you're different. And I just don't like the fact that you are technically hiding it from them and being like, oh, I don't know if we're ever going to tell them. No, that is so wrong. You can't protect children permanently. They are going to grow into autistic adults whether you like it or not. Protecting them and mollycoddling them and hiding it away from people is the worst thing you can do, because when they get to young adults and they're going to start asking questions like, Dad, Mum, why are we different? Why do we do this? Why do we do that? They're not going to understand because you haven't given them the knowledge or the skills to defend themselves. And the problem with that is then they're going to get bullied, they're going to get mocked, they're going to get teased because they've not had the information or the research to explain to what their condition is. They need to know how to live with the triggers. They need to know how to live with their sensory input, because I've had to teach myself. As an adult being diagnosed, I've had to learn my triggers to noise, touch, taste, sight, sound, because it's all overwhelming. I've had to learn how to go out my own comfort zone and defend myself, because by the end of the day, regardless of being autistic or not, these children will grow up to be autistic adults, and in the world is not kind to adults, so you have to learn before time strategies, coping mechanisms, things like meditation, doing colouring books, listening to music, going for walks, doing things that will help to lessen the anxiety and the sensory overwhelm. And by you saying we don't know if we're going to ever, that's just no. You don't do that, because again it's going to cause them problems in later life. You have to be honest with them. You have to tell them what's what. You have to tell them what's going on, because one day they are going to find out they're on the spectrum. Then they're going to be lost, because it's like, oh, so what do I do now? How do I react to it? How do I give myself time to process what's being said to me? How do I deal with someone touching me, being near me? How do I deal with someone trying to be in a relationship with me? Because again, it's overstimulus, it's communication, it's things that we don't come naturally to us. So again, what I agree with is that they're different. True, I agree totally that they'll have increased anxiety, which can lead to loneliness. I agree that you're raising awareness for seriously disabled children and autistic children. I think that's great. The more advocacy and awareness we can get, the better. I totally agree with that. 100% I'm behind you with that. But what I disagree with you, Paddy and Christine, is saying that children are not adaptable to love and relationships, and that you're saying that you're worried about their behaviour. That is so stereotypical. That is out of fear. That is out of what you've heard about autism. That is not accurate for every single person on the spectrum. Like, you have to be very, very careful with what you're saying around autism or autistic people. You should always look at the individuals. You should also always include the individuals about the discussion, because autism is lifelong. So it's till death do us do part. So basically, it will be with us till we die. We have to learn how to adapt to each different area on the spectrum, and learn to do tips, tricks, advice. And I understand that you're trying to help your children and guide them, protect. I get that. I get that as parents you're trying to do that, and that's fine. But please do not say you're not going to tell your children. That is just stopping them in their limitations. That's restricting them. That's the last thing you need to be doing. Support them, guide them, nurture them. Tell them little bits about what their autism is, but do not hide it from them, because later in life they're going to struggle, and I don't want them to struggle. I want them to have help that I had. I want them to go and have support from professionals if they need it. Don't hide it from them. Be honest with them. Be straightforward with them. They'll appreciate it later in life. Trust me. I wish people would be a bit more honest with me. But again, I can relate to this. So I thought I would do a video on it. Please like, comment, share and subscribe. And I will see you next time. Bye guys.